your compliance. You will feel no pain anymore, no more defiance. Just give us your compliance.
Hey, it's Larry Sharp here on the Sharp Way Show. A little bit past 7 p.m., about a half hour past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. I know I'm a little bit late today. I apologize. I had to make some changes to the schedule. I apologize for the shift, but a shift has been made, and we are looking at talking about something that is very topical. And I want to be one of the people who will touch on the thing that is sometimes difficult to discuss, but I think we need to just talk about it and get it out there. Yep, I'm going to be talking about the shooting, the nightclub shooting in Colorado, and what it means and what we should be looking at and why it matters and what people are saying from it, which is it good and in a way kind of is good. And I'll explain a couple things. This is going to be a good show. You know it is, right? So do the right thing. Do the like, the comment, share thing. You know it's going to be good. I'm going to cover some stuff. I'm going to show you some stuff. It's going to be valuable. So please accept that. And of course, if you can support my sponsors, as always, World's Smallest Political Quiz. Click that link there. Get that off. Take that test and then send it off to other people if people see it. It does matter. It is important. Please, I want to make sure that happens. It is important if you want to support the show itself. Patreon.com/Sharpway, $10 a month keeps this show going. That's what I'm trying to make happen. So for those of you who don't know, there was a shooting recently in Colorado. A 22-year-old young man, it's always a young man, came into I think it was some form of, if I'm not mistaken, I'm sure someone will correct me. I think it was some form of drag show. I think that's true. In an LGBTQ club or bar, I assume club, nightclub, and he went in and he started shooting people. He had I think an AR-15, if I'm not mistaken. And again, I'm sure you guys will correct me, but I'm going with what I think I remember to be true as I listened to the story, and a pistol. And he went in and he started shooting, and he wound up killing 5 people and injuring about a dozen. And people are talking all about it, and the good and the bad and the everything. Well, is there any good? I'm going to give you some good to this. I know it's going to sound horrible. How can it be any good to it? In all tragedy, not all, in the vast majority of tragedy, we can find some type of silver lining. Not for the people who have lost someone. Those people aren't going to care. They've lost someone. For us outside looking in. And one of the most important things about this, and it may sound trivial, but it's really important to understand. The place was not filled with only people from the GSM community. It wasn't only filled with lesbian, gay, bisexual and trans people. It wasn't just filled with that community. It was filled with people who weren't. There were lots of what many people call allies there, but they didn't think something was going to happen. It was just a positive mix of diverse people, which is a good thing. And I know that doesn't give anyone much comfort in this. I know. But I'm trying to find something that is good in this. It was people who weren't part of that community, and they were together and enjoying what they wanted to enjoy in any way they felt. They were not. That may not be your thing. Maybe you don't enjoy drag shows. It's fine. But people do, obviously, and they were enjoying it. That I can say is one thing I want to take out of this that does matter, right? I think that's one thing that we do want to bring up. As you might think it's not, right? I remember when I was a youngster growing up, if it was a gay bar, that's what we called it back then in the day, there was only gay people there. That's it. That's how it used to be. Those days are over, and that part of this is a very positive thing. Now, I'm going to give you a little details on what happened, so some of you don't know, you'll see, and then I'm going to give you some pieces that I think matter importantly to this.
Suspect in Colorado's tragic shooting at an LGBTQ nightclub, Club Q, evaded the state's gun laws despite having allegedly threatened his mother with a homemade bomb a year ago. Anderson Lee Aldrich's past was all the more mysterious due to a name change when the suspect was 16 years old. Before then, he was known as Nicholas Brink. This is according to the Washington Post. While we don't yet know exactly how this name change impacted how his public records were handled, 22-year-old Anderson Lee Aldrich was not formally charged in last year's incident. And because the case was dismissed, his records were sealed.
His previous warning signs have many people asking how this was able to happen, because under Colorado's red flag law, Aldrich's firearms can be temporarily seized if a person is deemed a risk. Advisor at the National LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce and Public Policy.
Now, hold on. The reason why I bring this up, and I think this is very important for us to understand, because people are going to start talking about gun control. As always, gun control is not the answer. And I know some of you are going to be angry. Larry, you're terrible. What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. No, it's not the answer. Clearly, it's not the answer. It's not. When that guy came to Buffalo, my state, and shot down all those beautiful elderly black people in Buffalo, he was a white supremacist. We had the strictest gun laws in the entire nation, and he still did it. Colorado has the same thing, a problem, lots of gun laws, and he still did it. That isn't the answer. There is definitely a bigger picture here, a bigger, more important picture here. We can't just go, we need more red flag laws. New York has them, still happened. Colorado has them, still happened. There's a bigger picture here, which I'm going to cover, as you know I'm going to cover. And that's the issue I want you to get into your head. Please don't go, well, now that means we have to have more gun control. I'm the guy who will talk about gun control even during this. And my chat is so smart. Dave, you already brought it up. Dave brings it up. Solution to this problem, members of the LGBT community joining Pink Pistols, getting a handgun and defending themselves so that any SOB who would do harm to them. I'm going to say something that'll make some of you upset. Second Amendment rights are also LGBTQ rights. Yes, that's correct. Yes. But more importantly, Dave, it wasn't just Pink Pistol members who would be there. There were people who would not consider themselves gay, who would not in any way identify as gay. Many of them were there. So everyone should be able to defend themselves. Yes. But we'll go further. You'll see how this works. We'll go further. There's more to this than just that. But I want to be clear. I will talk about gun rights right after a shooting. You know I will.
The advocate Jonathan Lovitz joins us now to discuss. Hello, Jonathan.
Hello and good morning. I'm sorry. Wish it was on better circumstances, but it's good to be with you.
Yes, good to have you with us. Obviously, a terrible tragedy, which we discussed earlier in the show. You know what went on in the actual incident, the bravery of the individual who actually confronted and stopped the shooter in the way that is supposed to happen in the scenarios. We're supposed to be able to rely on police to do that, and we've often been disappointed by the police response in other mass shootings.
Now look at this, Breonna Joy Gray, who tends to be more for gun control. Even she's like, yeah, you're right. You can't rely on cops when a guy's shooting it up. Robbie's right on this. Robbie's like, yeah, we can't rely on the cops. Some guy is the one who stopped them. For those who don't know, there's a veteran. I think he was a Navy vet. No, he was an Army vet. Sorry, he was a soldier. Army vet is the one who stopped him, right? So yeah, literally it's the good guy who was there, who wasn't afraid, right? To do the job, to stop this guy. It wasn't the cops. The cops can't stop it until afterwards. He's the one who did it. And to be clear, the guy who did it, by the way, he wasn't a member of the LGBT community. He had, I think, either his daughter or his daughter's friend, I forgot, someone he loved was part of the community. So he's an ally. So he's there. And he's the one who saved more lives than anybody else. Sadly, 5 people passed before he was able to do that, but he's the one who did it. So it was a guy there, a soldier, a veteran who actually stopped this.
We want to talk a little bit about why this red flag law did not come into play. So many times it seems you have a mass shooting incident. This was true in Parkland. This was true of even some of the more recent shootings. The individual is known to law enforcement and has had interaction with law enforcement that should
Yes.
have, flagged this person for, in this case, I think for arrest. He threatened his mother with a bomb.
He threatened his mom with a bomb. Nothing. All these guys, the FBI, it's almost as if the FBI knows and does nothing. Red flag laws just put you on lists so the FBI can put you in jail faster when they want to put you in jail. That's what red flag laws actually do. But Larry, we got to have more laws to stop this. How many laws can we have? You know what stopped it? An ally to that community who was a trained veteran, who, by the way, was trained in firearms. He just didn't have one on him because he couldn't, because Colorado, he couldn't have one in that place. If he had a firearm, he might have stopped the guy faster.
So what do you make of all this?
The attack is heinous and horrific and has shaken all of us to our core once again. But to your point, it also has raised the consciousness around what we can do to make things better, including strengthening these red flag laws, making sure people who have no business having guns or access to dangerous materials have that ability. I think
guns and dangerous materials. This is the part that I want to stop right now. This gentleman is correct. This is a terrible crime. 100%. He's accurate. It's a terrible crime. Red flag laws are not the answer. Strengthening gun laws is not. We can't strengthen more. This is societal issues. But I want to say, here's the positive part to this. Positive part to this. There were allies and we were all together. That aspect is good aspect. And there were people there brave enough to stop this guy. That's good too. There are parts that are good. Let's focus on that aspect.
Expect some action from Governor Polis, the Attorney General in Colorado, and others. This is a hate crime, whether you call it that or not, because an attack on LGBTQ people of any kind is a hate crime.
Okay, no. And I want to stop this too. He is wrong. And if you're part of that community, please hear me out before you yell at me. I know you're going to yell at me. Just because the victim or victims are part of that community is not by default a hate crime. This may be a hate crime. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm not saying it is not. What I'm saying is everyone, and I must repeat this until I'm blue in the face, everyone deserves due process, and we should find out if it is or not before we say this. Right? What if there are two gay lovers and one's angry because one cheated, so one shoots the other? Is that now a hate crime? No, that's a crime of passion with two lovers, right? So no, doesn't matter. What if, and I don't know this, I'm making this up. What if this kid was gay, but he was I'm totally making this up, and his boyfriend or girlfriend was in there cheating on him, so he went in to kill everybody. That's not a hate crime. That's a crime of passion, right? That's still terrible, no matter what's horrible. But I don't want to call it what I don't know what it is yet. Let's figure it out. And if it is, it is. But we don't know that yet. Here's what I'm going to guarantee you, because it's always the same. It's a kid. I say kid because I'm older. It's a young male. How about that? That's better. It's a young male who felt isolated and who felt terrible. This is what's killing everybody. You can make these laws as hard as you want. This kid did not care. He threatened his mom with a bomb. What law is going to stop him? The problem is broken young men. I say it every freaking month, every week. Broken men. Young men who are broken do stuff like this. They are self-destructive. And of course, whenever we're self-destructive as men, we also do it outwardly. So everyone has to pay for our problems. Everyone's got to pay the price. And if I'm going to die, you're all going down with me. That's what they all do again and again and again. This is our problem. Please stop with what he's saying. He's incorrect. Please, you don't buy it. Please don't buy it. It's not the right answer. There are bigger issues, pressing issues that are hurting us, and that's one of them. So I want to go to a piece that is kind of even more important. And this is the hero himself. The guy Andrew brings up, internalized homophobia. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he's gay himself. Who knows? I don't know. Right? I don't know. Maybe. But let me bring up the guy who is truly a hero. This guy is amazing, right? I want to be this guy's amazing what he did. This guy saw the problem, jumped up, saw the guy with the gun, went after him, dropped immediately, got back up, and went after this guy and went after him. Just insane.
In mode. I was doing what I do downrange, you know. I train for this. I don't want to ever do this.
What I do downrange. For him to say that phrase, you know, he's trained in firearms. All we want to do is not help people train in firearms. You know, I love my brother Maj Toure. He's in Philly right now doing exactly this. He's creating more of these people. Maj Toure is in Philly right now. Black Guns Matter is his, if for those you care, Black Guns Matter is his organization. He's in Philly right now creating more men like him and women, sorry, more men and women right now just like him in Philadelphia to be ready, to not be afraid when they need to be brave, to take action when they take action, to stop things like this. When you are trained in firearms, you become smarter, savvier. I'm not joking. You think differently about it. You have more situational awareness. That's a fact. You don't want to believe it? This guy is proof. This guy's proof.
I didn't even retire because I was done doing this stuff. It was too much. And I'm you know, it came in handy, and I got to protect my kid. I lost my kid's boyfriend. I tried.
Here we go.
I tried to have everybody in there. I still feel bad that there's 5 people.
He's a vet. He's a vet. The issue that I want you to really understand there is he's a hero and he feels like a loser. I want you to really understand that in your head. He's a hero and he feels like a loser. Why? Because in his mind, he didn't do enough. Think of that. A guy bigger than him, not joking, a guy was over 6 feet tall, huge, 300 pounds, over 6 feet tall. That's the shooter. He came in with an AR-15 and a pistol, started firing. This man threw his family to the ground, then got up and went after this guy. And he feels, I didn't do enough. I didn't do enough because some people died. Why did I bring this up? It's a little bit off topic, but it matters here. For some people, when you see veterans come back, particularly if they're combat veterans, Now, I'm not a combat veteran, but if you are a combat veteran, you come back and you've lost people. And we say things like, you're a hero, thank you for your service. We don't understand why they sometimes feel bad. It's not our fault, right? I don't want you to think that's your fault. I'm asking you to have some understanding with combat vets and people like this. When you say that, if they feel awkward or look weird or something, don't be mad. It's not you. It's them. They feel like, why are you thanking me? I didn't do enough. I lost people. I didn't do enough. I'm a loser. I failed. That's how they feel. Because they couldn't save them all. They couldn't save them all. This guy's a hero. No doubt more people would be dead today if he didn't do what he did. But he did. And he still feels terrible. I didn't do enough. I could have done more. That's where he is. We need more people like him. More. How do we do that? Well, we could send people off to war. That's a terrible idea. Let's not do that. That's a way. That's a bad idea. Don't do that. The other way is to train people in these types of issues, in these types of environments, to train them, to support organizations like Black Guns Matter. Exactly at this point in time, we need that, something like that, to do that, to make more men and women like him, so that more people think it's the wrong answer. Don't go out and do this, because someone's going to take care of me and put me down and beat me. This guy took the guy's pistol. The hero took the shooter's pistol and pistol whipped him with it and hit him. The guy who, when the cops came in, they arrested the hero because they didn't know what was happening. So they arrested the hero first, then let him go, right? They first arrested him, then they let him go when they realized he wasn't the bad guy. But then the other guy, he's still in the hospital. This guy beat him so badly, the shooter went to the hospital. He's still in trouble. I don't think he's going to die. I mean, not that anybody would care if he died, to be forward. It sounds horrible. That's the point, right? Because that's the point. That's the sad part. You might go, yeah, because he's a murderer. No one cares if he died. Sadly, probably no one would have cared if he died prior to him being a murderer. That's why he's a murderer. Let me say that again so it lands. Right now, no one cares if he dies because he's a murderer. But sadly, no one probably cared if he was going to die before that. That's why he became a murderer. And that's the point. The sadness, the loneliness, and the pain is why these young men keep striking out. And what do? Well, get him, put him in jail more. Awesome. Now he'll be in jail for 30 years. And those 5 people are still dead. And this guy, Hero, is still broken. And this guy still has PTSD. And so do all the other people who there were shot at. So they all got PTSD, but we feel righteous because we put a guy in jail. Yay. Or he beats him to death and he dies. Yay, he's dead now. 5 people still dead. Family still trashed. And now I got an LGBT community that should be feeling awesome about itself and how it's been able to integrate perfectly into this society. And everyone's together and everyone cares and no one's fighting. And now they feel like, oh my God, I can't go out or I'm going to get shot. Or I'm going to get shot. Now, whether this is a hate crime or not, and maybe it is. If you were in Club Q, and if you're a member of that community, how are you going to feel? You're going to feel like, my God, I'm not safe anymore. Of course you are. It's human. You watched your friends get shot. Well, of course you're going to feel that. You were having a great time watching the show. All of a sudden your friends are dead or shot or gonna go dropped on the ground, blood everywhere. Of course. Of course. We have to stop this. But the answer isn't just anger. And let me go to the next piece on this. There's more to this. Good and bad and all over. And I'm going to keep going because this guy talks about it also. This is the Humanist Report.
There's 5 people that didn't come home.
Yep.
And this guy, I told him while I was hitting him, I said, I'm going to kill you, man, because you tried to kill my friends. My family was in there.
Now, the reality of it is, he's right. 5 people aren't coming home. And again, every word he uses, you know he's a vet. He uses all the phrases we use. Not coming home. That's all the phrases we use. This guy, if he had any PTSD, oh, he's got it worse now. If he didn't have it, he got it now. Got it now. Worse.
That man is a hero.
100%.
Without a doubt, he is a hero. And he may not be a member to the LGBTQ plus community, but he knows that queer people are not groomers. He knows that every single life matters, which is why he risked his own life to stop this murderer.
And that's the point I want to bring up right there, right? What he's saying is true. Guy's a hero. And we should be happy that someone who's not part of that community didn't care, wasn't mad, didn't love them. All good. Let's do this. Let's stay together. Let's help people. Yes. But now comes the next part, which some of you will be upset about. I know I'm going to trigger some people. I know. When I say I don't want gun control, even though this was a gun shooting, I also don't want speech control. Because the other side of this is, well, it's all, stochastic terrorism. It's all people saying bad things. To be clear, I want to be clear on this. That is a thing. The problem is right now you have the right and the left going 2 different places, right? You have the right saying there's no such thing. Please don't know what stochastic terrorism is. It's the idea that you talk so much, right? You talk so much about the bad thing that you basically cause the bad thing, right? So these people are so terrible. They're so evil. They're horrible. So therefore it becomes normalized and okay to go kill or hurt the people, right? That does exist. Don't get me wrong. That exists. But you know where that doesn't exist? On Facebook and Twitter. Where it does exist? On the 4chans of the world. Yes. On the private servers of the world. Yes, it does exist there. The fact that someone says a gay joke or a black joke or a whatever joke on Twitter somewhere or sends a nasty meme out, that is not the same thing. And that's what they're going to try to stop now. There's the other part. Gun control is the first piece. And the second piece is going to be speech control. And they're both wrong. But Larry, you got to have gun control because then they won't have these guns. No, we have it, and they still have the guns. He threatened his mom with a bomb. Now I guess you have bomb control. Did you already have bomb control? I don't know. What do you? It doesn't work. Speech control. What happens if you have speech control? We're going to take these guys off of Facebook, these guys off of Twitter, which is what we're doing. Hurting the regular person, and where are they going? They're going into a dark web, or they're going into the 4chans or the other channels like that, where no one can see them except the FBI, who's just keeping track so they can arrest them later, after they commit a crime, but not during. So they go there, and then that stuff is terrorism. That's the stuff that gets them going. How do I know this? How do I know that to be true? How do I know that to be true? Because the guy in Buffalo literally said he went in and he went down a deep web rabbit hole, a dark web rabbit hole. That's where he went. He went down the rabbit hole. He didn't get his thought processes on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. That's not where he got it. But when we push them off, then all they go is these areas where everyone's telling them the bad thing, do the bad thing, do the bad thing, do the bad thing. We're going to attack the wrong people. The same way when we do gun control, we attack the wrong people, because who's affected by gun control more than anybody else? Young black and brown people in cities. That's a fact. That's who's affected most by gun control. Not this guy. Not him. He's not affected by it at all. Clearly, he's not affected by it. But there's probably at least a dozen people a week in New York State. Probably more. I'm making the number up totally. Probably more than that go to jail on gun charges. And they're all black and brown young men in cities. But this guy, not affected by it at all. If we do speech control, which is what he's going to ask for, and then the left will ask for speech control, they'll ask for that. That's going to affect people like me and you. Shadow banning me as I'm shadow banned now, like I'm some kind of threat to people. I'm already shadow banned horribly. So they shadow ban me everywhere. Meanwhile, the real bad guy goes on the 4chan or 8chan or whatever is the new chan of the day, whatever that thing is, and they sit there and listen to propaganda and watch propaganda for 8 hours a day. That's the kind of terrorism. Not this. Not this. That's the problem. So the right says, oh, there's no problem. No, it doesn't exist. So counterterrorism doesn't exist. Not a thing. It's imaginary. Oh, no. Gun control, no gun, it's nothing. No, this is just crime. This is just crime. That's all it is. It's just crime. That's what the right says. There's more cops. What's the left say? Oh, gun control, speech control. All of them are wrong. They're all wrong. First off, on the speech side, I don't want someone going down a rabbit hole. I want them in the mainstream world so someone can go, dude, what are you thinking? What's wrong with you, man? I want them to connect to people who aren't all a bunch of incels. This kid's probably an incel. I don't mean to be mean, but I'm just telling you the truth. That's what because they always are. It's the same kid. It's the same kid every time. I shouldn't say kid. I know I shouldn't say kid. I'm sorry. I'm in my 50s. If you're in your 20s, I call you a kid, and I shouldn't. I'm wrong saying kid. It's the same young man. And it's almost always a young man. And it's the same young man every time. Every time. It's the same young man. And it's a place where that young man believes that there are no guns. And it's the same place where people think that they are having a great time. Oh my God, I just saw what Patty put. Patty, you have read my mind. Patty says, every time something this happens at a club, movie, school, church, survivors say they were laughing moments before their friends died. That seems to be a theme. Thank you, Patty. Patty, you've hit a point that people just don't get. The people who are doing this are angry and hateful, and they hate themselves, and they're striking out. Do you think that this guy, this 20-year-old kid, thought, I'm going to go in, kill all these people, and go back home and play video games? No, he knew he wasn't coming home. The Buffalo shooter wrote a whole manifesto because he knew he wasn't coming home either. They know they're not coming home. All of them know that. They're either getting shot, killing themselves, or going to prison forever. They're not coming home. They are aware of that. What law is going to stop them? And they're so deeply unhappy that what these things always are, are public suicides. And Patty, you're perfect. They always go to a place where people are enjoying themselves because in their mind, how dare you enjoy yourself when I can't? I'm feeling so much inner pain and I hate my life and I hate myself. How dare you? How dare you enjoy, have friends together? It's those people together because these guys have no friends and they hate it and they can't stand it. It's unfair. It's wrong. So they're going to go fight you and they're going to show you. And they do. And they do. You're totally right, Patty. It's a great catch. You're totally right. So what should we do? What I hear all the time. Got to punish these people. Aren't they? How much worse can you punish them? How insanely stupid is that? How can you punish them worse? He's so broken, he wants to kill himself and others. He's 22 years old and has no hope. I mean, for those of you who've been in a dark hole, and many of us have, I have been there too. You know, when you're in that dark hole, there's no hope. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The world will be better without you around. In fact, the world's an evil, horrible, unfair place. That's how you feel. And you just want to end it. And if you make some of the people pay, so what? They made you pay, so you're going to make them pay. That's how you think. There's no law going to stop that. There's no law going to stop that. The goal is get these people out of dark places so they won't do this. I've been saying this for 5 years, and I feel like no one's hearing me. I really feel like no one's hearing me, and no one even wants to hear me. I'm the one saying, give these kids some purpose. Give these men some purpose, and we'll see things change. If we don't, we will not see it change at all. Everyone's talking about it. Tucker talked about it. Young Turks talked about it. Everyone's talking about it. And the answer is, as I've been saying before, what is killing our children now? What is killing people in clubs? Well, it's mean white guys that we got to punish and call names. No. It's lack of community. It's lack of purpose and loneliness. I'm going to give you a piece. This is from, if I can find this piece. This is actually from the Young Turks. Everyone's talking about this thing, of course, as they should. And I decided I'm going to too. So this is what they talk about here.
Excuse me. Got a little tickle in my throat. We're learning more about the gunman who opened fire at a gay nightclub in Colorado Springs over the weekend, killing 5 and injuring dozens of others. Now, it's a tale as old as time at this point. We're learning that he was viciously bullied when he was younger. Wow. At age 15, he became the target of a particularly vicious bout of online bullying in which insulting accusations were posted to a website along with his name, photos, and online aliases.
So they literally spent time bullying this kid to the point where he hated himself. Since 15. Yeah, he was an incel. Of course he was. He had no purpose. He was alone. It's the same young man.
The online bullying incident included photos of the then 15-year-old youth posted to a Wikipedia-like website, along with a fictitious biography riddled with.
They gave him a fake Wikipedia page and made a fake biography and insults.
Insults and ridicule.
Of course.
He's now 22 years old, and since then, he legally changed his name, which we'll get to in just a moment. But something else that stood out to me in regard to this report is a YouTube account that was created under his first legal name. According to the Washington Post, at some point, this YouTube account was created under his name before he changed it, featuring a crude, profanity-laden animation under the title, Asian Homosexual Gets Molested.
So maybe he was gay. Who knows? Maybe he was gay, or maybe he was closeted. Did he feel he could come out? Maybe his mom or dad, maybe that's why he threatened his mom, maybe. Who knows? But whether he was gay or not, whether he was bullied by his parents or not, I mean, something's wrong when you're threatening your mom with a bomb, right? Something's wrong. Something's going on there. Either you or the mom or something. There's a problem. That's not what That's not what the normal relationship between mother and son is, right? So something's going on there. So yeah, these are things we're talking about.
YouTube account was opened in 2010 with a note to viewers of the channel that read, "What's up, guys? Please help and subscribe." The crude animation with the Asian homosexual label was added in 2012. The video received more than 300 views, which isn't much, and I'm happy about that. Now, it's unclear whether he created.
Now, this piece I want to go on. If you watch the Young Turks, Cenk goes on to basically insult all. Basically, Cenk goes on to insult all right wingers, as he usually does. He just says, "Oh, they're so bad. They're so terrible. Blah blah blah. Don't care about their feelings. Attack, attack, attack." And the chat is all terrible. Right wingers are horrible, 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 horrible. That's not helpful. That's reinforcing it. That makes you feel good. That's reinforcing it. And of course, the left, if you go to Tucker Carlson's like, well, it's just crime, or just it's because they deserve it because they're all groomers. I mean, that's where he's going down that road. So he's attacking the left. Attacks aren't going to work here. And I know why I'm asking you to not attack after a bunch of people were killed. I am. That's true. I am. I am reminded of the movie Gandhi. After the British massacred, I mean, so many times, one of the many British massacres of Indians during their occupation. And Gandhi is there. And they're like so angry. Like, now we have to mount up and fight the British. And now we have to attack them and kill the British. And Gandhi was yelling, no, no, no. He said, an eye for an eye and we all go blind. I don't want us to all go blind. Sadly, a whole lot of us are already blind. We don't need any more of us to be blind. Blind with rage, blind with hate, blind with vengeance. This isn't the answer. The glory of what has been happening in America, the good part, is to Patty's point, right before the shooting. There were people together of all different communities enjoying something they enjoyed. Now, to be forward, I'm not a drag guy. It's not my thing. But who cares, right? There are things I like that I'm sure no one else likes. And I want to hang out with my friends and do my thing. And you want to hang out with your friends and do your thing. So why don't we let them hang out with their friends and do their thing? And that was the good part. Because it wasn't segregated. It wasn't, oh, it's the gay men here, and it's the lesbians there, and it's the straight guys there, and it's the white guys there, and the Asian guys. It wasn't that. And that's a good thing. It wasn't that. It was all the people who like this thing there, and they happen to be all different, and that's awesome. And when the bad stuff happened, they joined together. The part that is both terrible and I'm going to give you the good part. I'm trying to find positiveness in this, right? You got the big burly soldier, right? The big burly soldier, 6 feet tall soldier, is on the floor and he yells for the drag queen to stomp on the guy with her high heel. Come on. I mean, it's horrible, but that's it. They work together, right? That's the good part. I'm sorry. I'm a little emotional about this because I can see that this is going to be a situation to where the death of these 5 people and the PTSD of dozens and the mental health of dozens that will be sacrificed from this can be used only to divide us more instead of to make something positive out of this. And I think that's what bothers me most. That's the part that bothers me. Let me grab a couple of these. If I could, you have a bunch of comments. I'm going to grab some of these. So, all right. Let's see. Thomas tells a joke. Thank you, Thomas. The cranberries turned red when they saw the turkey dressing. Very cute. Very cute. Yes. Valerie says, hey, Larry, miss saying happy Thanksgiving to you early on the Free Solution Show on WYSL. Enjoyed listening to you and how your family celebrated when you were a kid, and now hug your daughter. Thank you, Valerie. I appreciate that. Yes, I did a Free Solution today at 1 p.m. For those of you who care, it is on the YouTube page. You can watch it. So yes, thank you. So, all right. Alexander yells, red flags don't work. Yes, Alexander. Yes, Alexander. Yes. And they're going to ask for more and more and more. We're just going to throw more laws on the biggest issue, broken children. Well, Larry, how do you fix broken children? Giving them purpose. How do you fix that? By changing our education system and changing how we do work and jobs in America. That's how we do it. Yes. That's how we do it. That's not easy, but yeah, absolutely. So Shelly says, don't laws fix everything? Thank you, Shelly. Yes. Valerie goes on to say, we talked about top shooter today in our active shooter class today with Chef Jeopardy. Yes. The top shooter, same thing. That's the Buffalo shooter, by the way, also known as the top shooter. So yes, he went down a horrible rabbit hole. You can't speech control these people because they're going to go off into a hole that we can't control. Speech control only affects the regular people. It doesn't affect the person who's lonely in a dark place. They find the dark place. That's how that works. Top shooter, perfect example of that. This guy, perfect example of that. Of course. So it's not going to work. Absolutely. So Shelley goes on to say, every time I see a sign that says no gun zone, I pray for them because it makes them a target. Wow. Yes. You're right. They always go to those places, right? Patty picked it up perfectly. They're going to places where everyone feels safe and happy and enjoying themselves, and they have no guns. Yes. Yes. Jeff goes on, and yet left is screaming for more gun control, and I believe that's not the answer. More laws is not the answer. A good guy with a gun can take care of a bad guy. Every time, Jeff, like every time. Right? Like every time. Think about what would have happened if that soldier, that veteran, I don't think he's active duty anymore, he's retired. So that veteran, if he had a firearm, might have taken care of that guy immediately. Faster than he did. He might have shot him off the bat. Maybe only 4 would be dead and not dozens, would have maybe only half a dozen. Who knows? I don't know. But either way, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So Joseph says, I don't have any problem with adults having drag shows, but I do have a problem with them forcing kids to participate in it and the schools and politics trying to get kids involved. Let me touch this, please, Joseph. To be forward with you, I agree on the government part 100%. Government should not be deciding that kids go to drag shows. But if you're a parent and you think your kid should go into a drag show, look, to be forward with you all, I wouldn't do it. I would not take my 12-year-old to a drag show. Would I take my oldest daughter who's in college to a drag show? Sure, if she wanted to. I mean, it's not my thing in general, right? But I would. She's an adult, right? She's in college. She wants to go to a drag show. Let's go to a drag show. It's fine. I'm not against it. Enjoy whatever makes you happy. It's fine. I wouldn't take my kid. My youngest one is still in school. I wouldn't take her. But if I was a parent who would, Joseph, you couldn't stop me, right? And I shouldn't, right? If you think, I don't know if you have any kids, Joseph, but if you had kids, obviously you wouldn't want to do that. But if you did want to take your kids to a drag show, I can't stop you and I shouldn't stop you. I can tell you I think it's the wrong answer, and I would hope you would listen to me, but that's not my place and not going to matter. That's the parent you are. That's what you would do. So I agree with you on that part. But if parents want to take their kids to drag shows, I mean, that's the kid to R-rated movies, but you can. I think you shouldn't, right? I didn't take my kid to an R-rated movie until she was like 16, 17. I didn't think it was the right thing to do, so I didn't. But people do. My parents did. They took me to R-rated movies when I was like 12 or something. I don't know, even younger. They shouldn't have, but they did. So, yes. Anyway, that's my view on that. I agree with you. You don't want to force, you don't want the government to be involved, but you should do things that you want to do. So, yes. So, right, James says, the one thing I have to wonder is what people mean by at risk. Is it possible that people follow the law can get their guns taken away while actually at-risk people can still get guns more easily? Yes, yes, and yes. Everything you're saying. Here's the problem with another problem with red flag laws. They put your name on lists. Think about this, James. I'm some bureaucrat, whoever it is, whether I'm a bureaucrat in the police department, in the FBI, the Justice Department, whatever the bureaucrat that I'm in. And James comes on my radar. James might be a guy at risk. Am I going to put him on that list? Hell yes, I am. Absolutely. When am I going to take him off that list? Never. Because what if you do something? Then I'm blamed. If I have a thought, can you go on the list? Should you go on the list? You're going on the list. Can you get off the list? Never. So you're going to be on that list. And that list is for one thing, for when I target you for whatever I target you for, when you get that that arrest or when you get in trouble or when you get accused of something, I'm gonna put, oh, you on the list. No bail for you, no double charges for you. We're throwing everything at you. You're on the list. So yes, I completely agree. Yes. So, all right. Valerie says, shared your show. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes. And she goes on to say, yes, we need trained armed citizens who are willing to neutralize active shooters. 100%. You're a sitting duck for at least 15 minutes until the police arrive with the guns. That's the point I'm saying with Jeff. Jeff, it's always a good guy with a gun. The question is, does that good guy have a uniform on and a badge or not? But either way, it's a good guy with a gun, right? There's a thing I do in New York City when I talk about gun violence and guns. I ask people when I'm in New York City, I'm doing something about guns, and say, okay, guys, who here owns a firearm? And in New York City, almost nobody does, right? So it's rare a hand even goes up. Once in a while, a hand will go like, yeah, I got a gun, but it's another state. I mean, that happens once in a while. But usually nobody's hands goes up. And I go, great, you're all wrong. You all of you own guns. Like what? Yeah. The police are holding them for you. We bought the guns with our taxes. Our taxes bought the guns, and the cops keep our guns. And when we have problems, we call 911, and the cops bring our guns. That's what happens. But we all in New York City own guns. There's 40,000 cops in New York City. We all own guns. Just the cops got to hold it because the law won't let us hold it, so the cops hold our guns. And by the way, we didn't have a choice with what guns we wanted to buy. They decided what guns they were going to buy for us. But there are still our guns. And then they come when we have a problem. So to Jeff's point, it's always a good guy with a gun who solves the problem. The question is, does the good guy have a badge and a uniform or not? So yes, absolutely. So Logic says, agree, Larry. As someone in the LGBT community, I'll wait for the facts before I jump to calling it a hate crime. The shooting had me livid. It's a little bit difficult not to react off emotion. Agreed. Me too. I'm with you. Logic. I'm totally with you. It is emotional, and that's why I wanted to cover it, because it is emotional, and we should feel horrible, and we should be happy that it was, an ally that stood up because he didn't want to lose his family and friends, and part of his family and friends are people in the LGBT community. Me too, right? I mean, in today's world, is there any family that doesn't have at least one person, if not multiple people, who are part of that community? I mean, so many, right? So, of course, the people you love, people you care about, you don't care who they love or whatever. You care about them, right? So, of course, and we should be happy that now it's that type of environment. I mean, I'm old enough, but some of you old enough to know, 30, 40 years ago, that didn't happen. Now it does. I mean, I remember being a youngster, and if it was a gay bar, that's all it was. It was a gay bar. Everyone in the bar was a gay man. That's it. Nobody else. If you weren't a gay man, you weren't there. Now it's the case. It's still obvious. If it's a gay bar, most of the patrons will be gay men. But there will also be straight men then. There will also be, there'll be allies there too. There'll also be women there, right? There'll be lesbians there too. There'll be a mix of people there. You go back 30, 40 years, that didn't happen. This is a good thing for us to be, together, voluntarily integrating as we see fit. I think it's wonderful. That part is good. But yes, I hate that I have to say it because of this. And is it a hate crime? Maybe. It might be. I don't want to say it's not. At the same time, it could be the same thing as what Patty said. Maybe this hateful shooter said, look at that. Look at these people having a great time, being all flamboyant and happy and yelling and screaming. You know what? Why do they get to have a good time and I don't? I'll show them. And that could be what happened. So yes. All right. Robert says, Democrats probably stage it so they could take conservatives that that's what all these mass shootings goes are about the media free days. I'm not sure that's true. I don't know where you're getting that one from. They staged it. Democrat. I'm gonna go with no on that one. I mean, am I naive enough to think that politicians couldn't stage things? Of course they could. This, no way. No way. I'm not buying this one, Robert. No way. Could things be staged? Yes, I think there are things that could be staged. Not this. I'm not buying that one. I'm not buying it. So, All right. Let's see if I can go down here. Shelly says, I have so much dangerous material in my house. Rolling pins, knives, duct tape, vinegar chair, fire extinguisher, heavy glass objects, blowtorch. My guns are locked in my friend's car. Well, look, all I'm saying, Shelly, is common sense duct tape control. It's common sense. Like, do you really need 3 rolls of duct tape? I mean, come on. So we're going to have red flag laws. You have too many of them. Yes. The Frankenstein wrong thing, it says too many broken homes, boys raised by moms, no mentors. Yes, yes, and yes. Look, not that a mom can't be a wonderful parent. My mom was a single parent too after my father passed when I was 11. Moms can be wonderful parents, of course. But moms aren't dads. That's not an insult. That's just a fact. Same in the reverse. Dads aren't moms. They're just not. And we in our lives, all of us, need positive male role models in our lives. Whether you're a man or a woman doesn't matter. You require positive male role models, positive female role models, positive adult role models, period. But you need all of that to understand where you are in your world. We all need it. Not just me, not just you. We all need it. If you don't have it, you struggle. Doesn't mean you won't survive. Doesn't mean you're going to become a shooter. Does not mean that. But the odds of your success are going to go, scratch that. The odds of your success and happiness in life are going to go up if you have positive male and female and adult role models in your life. That's just common sense. We all know this to be true. And when you don't have it, the odds are going to go down. I talk often why I joined the Marine Corps. I joined because I saw positive male role models in the Marines. And I rushed there. Absolutely. So yes. So, all right. No more business. No more bushies. Sorry, says, I'm not absolutely sure, but if I'm seeing it right, school shootings are to advance gun control and public shootings to defund the police. School shootings to advance gun control and public shootings to defund the police. If they can take away your guns, as they take out the police, they'll control you with military force. It's a psychological control tactic. The gun piece maybe, but not the defund the police part. I mean, even Democrats don't actually want to defund the police. They use the police, right? Police. I feel bad for so many cops who thought they were joining to do the right thing and then wind up becoming tools of the state. I think it happens often. I'm not sure I buy the police part, right? I mean, I think Eric Adams is a Democrat. Man, he's all about cops. Kathy Hochul supports cops, not as much as Lee Zeldin just loves cops. I mean, I don't know, but I feel like defund the police was just a thing to. I mean, most Democrats run away from that, right? I'm not sure about that. I get the gun part. That makes total sense. The cop part, I don't think it's true. We are still putting more money into cops all over the place. New York City too. So I don't know about that one. Maybe. Jeff says, it's the ethos that we live by the military. Yes, you are correct, Jeff. Absolutely. You are correct. Yes. So, all right. Logic says, what I would like to know is what happened to security. Ooh. Did Club Q have unarmed security at least? I would argue barring liability that these clubs should have licensed armed guards. I am one myself. The worry I have with armed guards is the security itself having some type of big burly person around or tough looking person around, whatever, or even just a person with a shirt that says security that, they might be like no karate or something. Even that, I think, helps deter, fights and violence and such inside your club. But I wonder if someone's going to come at you, right? That kid's going to come at you with an AR-15 and he's got body armor on. Is an armed security guard going to mean anything? He'll shoot the security guard first, won't he? I think you'd have to have maybe, unless you had it inside, maybe, right? If you had armed security inside, but then does that stop him coming in? I'm not sure that an armed security guard outside would have stopped this specific thing. Not that I'm against having armed security. I'm not sure that would have worked in this specific case. I think that will be my concern. Would he have just, again, the reason why I say this is because the top shooter, they had an armed guard, and the kid was wearing, I keep saying kid, I'm so sorry. The young man was wearing body armor. So he engaged immediately. The security guard hit him once. The kid wasn't dropped because he was wearing body armor. Then he killed the security guard. That actually happened in a top shooting in Boston. So my worry is with that, they just killed the security guard. So you'd have to somehow figure that piece. So Alexander goes on and says, smash that like button. He is right. Guys, if you like what I'm saying, if you think it matters, if you think people should see it, then like and comment and share. Right? Please do that. Not just that. I know you want to share. It's awesome. Support the show by taking the world's smallest political quiz. They're a sponsor of our show. Take that. Take the actual quiz. 2 minutes, and then share it. Right? Share it into on your Facebook. Share it on your Twitter. Whatever the case may be. Share it. It is important. And of course, if you're going to sponsor the show. Right? Patreon.com/sharpway. Sponsor the show if you can. Let's make something happen. It would be very helpful if you could do that. I would appreciate it tremendously. So if you can, please support the show in any way that you see fit, whatever you can do. So, all right, let me keep going here. Let's see here. Lodge goes on to say it's a theme when the community refuses to defend itself, going along with more useless gun control that never works. Red flag laws also failed here as usual. Yes. Right. And that's the point, right? I mean, obviously, I don't know what it's like to be part of the LGBT community. I don't know. But I do know what happened with the Black community. I know enough from the history to know how one of the first things the government did to the Black community was disarm it. Disarmed them after the Civil War to make sure guns were out of slaves' hands. Disarmed them again in the 60s, the Black Panther Party. Disarmed them all the time. Disarmed them after World War I so they could burn down, Black Wall Street. Disarming Black communities has been the thing by the government. Disarming, taking control of them. Disarming the Native Americans so they can crush them, right? Native Americans have a similar story. So disarming yourself is not the right answer. I'm not saying I want every gay person to walk around with an M16. I'm not saying that, AR-15. I'm not saying that. You should have a right to. And people should be worried. They shouldn't think, oh, there's a gay guy. I can beat him up because he's a whatever, easy target or whatever. They should think that's a gay guy. He might shoot me. Right? So maybe I should leave him alone. Or whatever, right? Just that's a person. That person might shoot me. I should leave him alone. Let me leave him alone. Right? Look, I'll say, if you don't like gay people, right? I don't know why you wouldn't, but say you don't. All right, you don't like gay people. Leave them alone. Just leave them alone. That's it. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking you to love people who are part of the LGBT community. Don't. It's fine, right? I do, but you don't have to. It's fine. Just leave them alone. That's all I'm saying. So, yes. All right. See if I can go down here a bit if I can. Valley goes on a suicide by cop. Yes. If they don't shoot themselves after they murder. Also true. Yes, absolutely. Wander This World 97 says, yep, I remember you talk about this on Joe Rogan in 2018. Thank you. I brought this up in 2018 on Joe Rogan. I brought it up since 2017 when I first started talking about it. So it's almost 6 years. I've been talking about the same issue because it's been the same thing. It's the same story. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm glad you remember because I do talk about this all the time. Yes, all this time. So, let me grab this if I could. Paula says Cenk is going what most likely causes a shooter to shoot, going after disenfranchised young men. Yeah, right. And this part drives me crazy. We now try to punish all the young men and insult them more. What put them here? The insults. They just showed you the insults. The insults, the disrespect, the punishment, the bullying. That's what made the kid act the way he's acting. So let's not make more of him. We already got one we got to deal with. Now he's going to jail probably the rest of his life, one would assume, right? So, and he already killed people. So his damage is done. His life ruined, which is what he wanted to do anyway, because he didn't believe that he deserved anything. And now he's ruined the lives of dozens of people, right? At least 5 families are devastated. And the dozens of wounded people, who knows how bad they're wounded, how they're traumatized. So he's done his damage already. We can't bring that back. Done. Why are you going to make more? But Larry, we got to be angry. No, we got to fix this. I don't want more of these. And there's literally thousands of those guys sitting at home right now at home right now, down some 4chan, 8chan channel, whatever is the cool thing of the day now, going down some dark rabbit hole, thinking how the bad guys are doing the bad thing. It's the gay people or the black people or the Jewish people or the whatever, or the Democrats or the Republicans. It's the whomever that those people are telling him is the reason for him feeling like a loser, is the reason he can't get a girlfriend, is the reason he can't have a relationship or boyfriend. He can't have that. When you hear me say 1,000 times, and I'll keep saying, common thread through all of these shooters, two things: something they have, something they don't have. They have some kind of prescription for a psychotropic drug, right? Because they're feeling terrible about themselves. They've gone to drugs to try to solve their problem. Yep. And for some people, don't get me wrong, some of these drugs work for some people. Absolutely. I'm not saying they don't all work, but I think we know they're abused all the time. So that's one. And then two, they don't have a girlfriend. Or maybe in this case, perhaps boyfriend. In this case, I don't know if he's gay, but maybe he is. And maybe that's worse. Because maybe the fact that he was gay and he felt he was bullied because of that, even on top of it, he already felt terrible. And now maybe he's bullied again because he's gay. Double whammy. And now he wants to just punish everybody. And how can these gay people be having a good life and enjoying themselves when I can't? Gonna punish everybody. The deadliest predator to humans on the planet is the charismatic male sociopath. I'm not joking. The charismatic male sociopath is the most dangerous predator to humans on the planet. Has been forever and still is. What is their most powerful tool? Disenfranchised young men. Those are the tools they use to punish even more. And we are creating an army of disenfranchised young men for some male charismatic sociopath to come by and take over them. But like women don't do this anywhere near as much. It's a sociopathic male who's charismatic. That's who it is. I'm not trying to be sexist. That's just the fact. That's what's happening. Could a woman one day be as horrible as men and do it? Maybe. I hope not. But in that case, let's hope for no equity on that one. I would like on that case to have no equity. None. It's men are bad enough. I don't need to have women to this one, right? But it's always a charismatic sociopathic male who's going to go out there and get all these disenfranchised young men to commit horrible acts and to punish millions of people. We're creating an army now. We are prepping the ground for this person to come. Terrible. I'm sorry. So, yes. All right. Kevin says, hey, Kevin, I'm surprised that nothing really changed after terrorist types of people. People still vote down the same lines and they still concede to the same apathy that caused attrition from the state. You're right, Kevin. I wish you were wrong, but you are 100% correct. People just get mad and double down on the same old things. They don't change anything. Yes. People are not often ever so shocked they come to their senses, lol. But I think most Democrats don't like how the government is structured. I think that's true on both cases, and I wish we would change. I agree with you. I think we should change. We've got to get to a point where this isn't the answer. That we start making some changes. Stop just going, well, you know what? It's now my Republicans will fix it or my Democrats will fix it. No, they're all doing the same thing, ignoring it. Right? Democrats want more control. Republicans say there's no problem. What do I constantly say? Republicans are the party of no ideas. Democrats are the party of bad ideas. There we go. And since if I'm in trouble, I want a solution. I'm in trouble. I'm lost. I need a solution. Republicans go, bootstraps, no problem. So I ignore them. Democrats go, here's a terrible idea. I go, oh, well, that's an idea. It's terrible, but it's an idea. Let's try the terrible idea. And it's terrible because it's a terrible idea. So things keep getting worse. So we're following down the terrible idea. Republicans have no answers. Well, you know who does have answers? Libertarians do. Lots of them. I wish more people would actually listen. We'll see. Yes. All right. Patty says, I would not take my child to a gun range, but won't stop a response parent who would. Yes. Thank you, Patty. Thank you. The fact that we are all different is why this world's so beautiful. 100%. right? If you think that's the right answer, you should do it. You're the parent. Do what you think's best, as long as you're trying to do the right thing for your kid. Go on with your bad stuff. I completely agree. That's amazing. I do appreciate that. Yes. All right. Let's see if I can go down here a couple of times. All right. Shelly says black guns matter. LGBT guns matter. Yes. Everyone should have the right. Everyone should have the right to protect themselves as they see fit, however they see fit, to be forward. It doesn't mean you have to, I need you to have a gun. It does not mean that at all. It means that you should be able to have one if you want to. I go back to what Patty's talking about. If you feel that guns are not right for your household, I'll give you a little bit personal in this regard. Some of you know this story before. My father, before he passed, he was very aggressive on how he disciplined us, me. He would hit first, ask questions later. He was very forward and very aggressive in how he disciplined us. Very aggressive, far more than I thought was appropriate. That's what I'll say. Far more than I thought was appropriate. Didn't matter. I loved him. I thought he loved me. I just thought what he did was inappropriate. Is what I would say. Too far. I know that's in me. That's how I was raised. As I was raising my daughters, I felt that in me, like my desire to do that to my children. So I chose to not spank my children. Why? Because I knew what was in me, and I was worried that I would go too far. I was worried I'd become my father and go too far. So I said, I am not going to spank my children. I know what's in me. I know what I felt. I know what I was falling back to from my childhood. So I said, I'm not doing that. Am I saying you should not spank your children? I'm not. I'm saying I felt in my case I shouldn't, so I didn't, which means that's right for me. I'm not going to tell you what to do. For me, it was the wrong answer, so I didn't. So I follow down that road. I practice what I preach. I don't tell you you shouldn't. You shouldn't tell me that I should, right? If my kids are happy and I'm happy, I did enough. If your kids are happy and you're happy, you did enough, whatever that is. So yes, this is the libertarian answer, as it always seems to be, isn't it? Yes, absolutely. All right, let me see if I can run a couple more of these. I appreciate that. I'm glad you guys are going back and forth, right? I'm glad you guys are going back and forth here also. I'm seeing you guys going back and forth. Natalie says, truth, scapegoating and projecting is a serious issue. Also mental health issues. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Nicholas says, these types of incidents are more likely in the Christmas season as more people are depressed. Yeah, this is one of the reasons why you guys notice that once the holiday, for those of you who've been following me often, once the holiday season starts, Thanksgiving season starts, you will see me being a little bit preachy about happiness. I do it a lot more because you're right, Nicholas. This is the time. It's when people need it, so I do it. You're right. I'm one of the guys who will be out there doing a little bit more of this preachy stuff, trying to get people on board because you are correct. This is when I have some tough phone calls sometimes to make to people who I know are in trouble. I think that happens too. So yes, you are absolutely correct. Yes. All right. Brian says the name change at 16 could have been a direct result of the cyberbullying. And yes, thank you. They're going to act like he was trying to hide himself. Yeah, maybe from his cyberbullying, Brian. It's a great point. Maybe from his cyberbullying, 100%. Yes, absolutely. All right. See, Alexander says we need stand your ground laws. I'm not sure how that affects this. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I don't think in this case they're not related, right? I mean, the guy's shooting at you. I don't think, and it's Colorado. I don't think that would matter in this case. But I get your point. But I don't think in this case, I'm not sure it would matter. So yes. Shelley said, I was told by a person who was suicidal that it was to avoid committing murder. Ooh, wow, Shelley, right? Very deep. That goes to a point to where someone realizes, right? Someone realizes or feel, I should say realize is the wrong word. Someone believes that they are so bad, that they are so terrible, that they may do something terrible that they'd rather kill themselves than hurt others. That other lives are so much more important than theirs. That makes any sense. It's a way of them. Suicide throughout history has always been a way of repent, right? Christians have turned that away, right? Christians are more like, no, you can't commit suicide. However, you can become a martyr, right? Martyrdom still exists in Christianity, but suicide didn't. So death by cop is martyrdom. So you can do that in our society, where in many Eastern and Middle Eastern cultures, you can still commit suicide. Actually, that you can't in Middle Eastern cultures either. Non-Muslim Middle Eastern cultures or Central Asian cultures, non-Muslims when you can commit suicide. However, but general rule, martyrdom is okay. Suicide is not, except in Eastern culture where suicide is. It's a very valid point. So they don't do suicide, they do death by cop, which is martyrdom. It's a great social point. So I appreciate that. Yes. Man, my chat, you guys are brilliant. I have such a great chat. It is amazing. I have such a great chat. Thank you guys. I know you guys are going back and forth. I love this. So yes. All right. Natalie says, many aren't that self-aware and repeat harmful cycles despite better understanding. Yes, I have watched many people become their parents. I think you're totally correct. Many people have become their parents. We want to try to stop that if we can. We also have many different cultures, and respecting boundaries seems to be lacking. Also true. Yes, absolutely. All righty. Let's see here. Patty says, our fear is their power. I try to choose understanding and empathy over fear and ignorance. Spread the love. Thank you. Now it continues, I greatly return ideas more than any of these days and think localized power makes sense to solve problems. It is far better than anything else I could possibly imagine. I agree. So I want to say again, guys, if you can like, comment, and share, it does matter. Please do so. If you can support the channel by heading over to patreon.com/Harley, please do so. $10 a month helps tremendously. The world's smallest political quiz, that's my sponsor. It's free. Take the quiz. Takes 2 minutes and then share it. It's awesome. I brought up a lot of stuff today. I hope it was clear what I was trying to achieve. This shooting in Colorado was terrible. It was terrible for many reasons, not only because 5 people are dead, which of course is terrible, but also because it's going to make people of the LGBT community feel like we haven't moved forward when we have. Obviously, it's not perfect. Clearly, not trying to say that, but we have. And fear mongers on both sides are going to double and triple down on this. You're going to find the left going, see, everybody hates gay people. It's terrible. You can't feel safe. You're all going to die. And the right going, well, you're only the bad people deserve it. This is just regular violence. It's because defund the police is why they didn't defund the police, and this wouldn't have happened. You're going to hear all that stuff go back and forth. When the reality of this is, we have come very far and we're still going further. The glory of this, the good thing in this terrible tragedy is that prior, I got to tell you, Patty, you hit this right on the nose, right? Before that broken man came into that club, it was a glorious place full of people of every type of background, diverse, enjoying something they all enjoyed together. That's awesome. We need more of that, and I hope we'll have more of that. And that guy came in there for whatever reason, whether it was a hate crime or not. We should not accept it's a hate crime until we know it's a hate crime. We should not accept it until we know it is. But whether it is or isn't, it's a broken young man again. An incel, bullied man again. What's killing our kids in school? What's killing our LGBT community in clubs? Lack of community, lack of purpose, and loneliness. Disenfranchised, broken young men. If we fix that, we fix so much, and that's hard. It's hard to even say. And it's going to take years. But if we don't fix that, every other law or rule or change will not change anything. And the hard left and the hard right will just yell at each other and go, see, it's because this, it's because that. No. There is such a thing as stochastic terrorism. It does exist. It's not Facebook and YouTube. That's not what it is. That's not what it is. It's just not. Not Twitter. It's not that. It's those smaller 4chans, 8chans, again, whatever. I'm not in that world, so I don't know what the new one is. It's whatever that server is. It's those. And that's when we push them off of this. We don't let them in with us. We don't let them in with the masses of people. We don't let these young men join us. They go down that hole. They hate themselves. They go down that hole deeper. They find a scapegoat, a reason for their pain, and they come out literally blazing shooting in a blaze of glory. They come out and they punish us all. Let's not let them go there. Let's keep them here. If we keep them here, we can talk to them. If we keep them here, we can make things better. If we keep them here, they can have friends. They can have friends. Many of you have been in a dark place. I know you have, because we've all been in a dark place before. But imagine that dark place. Multiply it by 10. Go down a dark hole that someone will give you a reason, an answer. Here's why you're in a dark place. It's these people. It's these people who did it to you. It wasn't you. It was these people. They did it. Go get them. What might you have done? Let's stop that. The damage this guy's done is done. I hate it. It's terrible. And those families are broken. Some of them will repair themselves. Some of them will never recover. I don't know which ones are which. Some will never recover. Let's stop making guys like him. I don't want to make someone like him. I don't. That's an important piece. Anyway, guys, I want to say thank you so much for today. I will be on tomorrow evening also. Yes, tomorrow evening also I'll be on talking a little bit about labor unions and the future of labor in America. A little bit different, I know. Trying to do the left and the right and the middle and everything I possibly can. Give you guys the best show I can and to give you guys some good ideas on how to move forward. I will see you all very soon.